Chapter 25. With the night now behind us, today was the big day of our friendly bilateral relations pact. Naturally, before stepping into the public eye, I had to go through another round of preparation. Shuna had selected my outfit well in advance, a tailored, deep blue formal gown embroidered with golden thread along the sleeves and hem. The neckline dipped just enough to be elegant without feeling exposed, and a soft silver-trimmed cape settled over my shoulders like moonlight draped in fabric. A thin belt cinched the waist, letting the skirt fall in graceful folds that rippled faintly as I moved. Ren fastened a sapphire brooch at the collar, adjusting the angle with exacting care. "Stand still, please," she murmured, smoothing the drape of the cape with the steady hands of a professional. Shion stood off to the side, arms folded, a proud grin on her face. "You look incredible, Lady Rimuru. Seriously, absolutely beautiful," I responded with a habitual half-smile, but said nothing. Not yet. When everything was in place, I stepped in front of the full-length mirror. I paused. The person reflected there didn't feel distant or unfamiliar anymore. Not a role I was playing, or something I had to push through. Just me. The soft wave of blue hair, the golden eyes clear and steady. The elegant, poised figure. The way the gown shimmered faintly as I moved. I looked at myself and thought. I really do look beautiful. It wasn't a flippant thought, or a nervous one. Just quiet acceptance. No unease. No inner debate over whether I was slipping away from who I once was. Not this time. Just as Ren had said before, I think I'll enjoy the moment. With that, the three of them gave a final once-over, Ren stepping back with a silent, satisfied nod, Shuna gently brushing a hair from my shoulder, and Shion beaming like she'd personally won something. And with everything in place, I was ready to meet the world again. After getting ready, we made our way to the ceremony. Ren quietly straightened the hem of my dress before we stepped out. Her hands were precise, expression calm as always. "You look perfect, Lady Rimuru." I gave her a small nod, the silky navy fabric brushing softly as I walked. The golden embroidery shimmered under the morning light, the sapphire brooch at my collar catching every glint. As we entered the ceremonial hall, all eyes turned toward us and then settled on me. A soft murmur rippled through the crowd. "Is that the ruler of Tempest? She's beautiful. So elegant. I didn't expect this. She really looks like royalty." I kept my expression serene, but part of me warmed inside. Just as Ren said, "I think I'll enjoy the moment." Gazel leaned slightly toward me and whispered, "Keep smiling." So I did. The ceremony proceeded smoothly, each formality playing out in perfect order. But then came the final moment when I was expected to say a few words. I pored over the speech again in my mind. Rigard and Kaijin had helped me refine it before I left, and after a few rewrites, I had it memorized. "I can do this. Let's rock." King Gazel wrapped up his part with practiced authority, then turned and gave me a slight nod. Ren gave me a subtle, encouraging look from the side, and Shion stood nearby, her gaze proud and steady. I stepped forward, the soft rustle of my dress echoing faintly as I walked, and took my place at the lectern, composed, calm, and radiant in deep navy and gold. Hello, everyone. I'm Rimuru Tempest, the Lord and Overseer of the Jura Tempest Federation, Tempest, for short. To be honest with you all, I wasn't exactly born into this role. I actually started out as a slime, yeah, really, but this is my human form. A lot's happened since then, and well, here I am. Thanks to a few twists of fate, I ended up forming a close bond with a man named Yom, the champion. Together, we faced off against the Orc Lord when he threatened the forest of Jura. We managed to overcome that crisis side by side. Here in Dworgen, I've seen firsthand how humans and monsters can live and work together. It's a beautiful thing, and that vision of coexistence and mutual respect is something I want to build in Tempest as well. A nation where no one's judged by what they are, but by who they are. King Gazel has been generous enough to support that dream, and I can't thank him enough for it. Going forward, I hope to continue this friendship between our nations and strengthen it even further. Now, I won't pretend that Tempest is like other countries. We're a land full of monsters, including me. But don't let that scare you. At our core, we're not so different from anyone else. We laugh, we struggle, we build, and we dream just like all of you. So, instead of fearing us, I hope you'll give us a chance. Let us be your friends, your allies. Everything I've said here comes from the heart, and I mean every word of it. Thank you all so much for listening. It was short, but I still put as much firm emotion behind it as I could, hoping it would reach the hearts of Dworgen's people. I was trying to be honest, It wasn't like I was capable of pulling a bunch of crap out of nowhere for a speech like this. I also didn't forget to casually note my relationship with Yom, who was starting to become a legend in his own time. To me, the speech was pretty well perfect, but King Gazel still gave me an earful about it afterward. 1. It was too short. 2. It was too self-effacing. 3. It leaned too hard on emotional appeal over authority. In his words, it was a near-perfect 0. And then came the lecture. He went on at length about how rulers need to project confidence, how what we say in public shapes how the world sees our nation. That we don't just represent ourselves, we carry the hopes and image of everyone under us. I shouldn't downplay my own achievements, and definitely shouldn't rely on being relatable to win people over. That sort of humility could be taken as weakness. I suppose that advice came from the heart, he'd never need to say it otherwise. I accepted it with my utmost appreciation. I had lived wholly outside the realm of politics, but now I had somehow or other become the head of a nation. I had to stop crying about things and start doing things. It was a bit overwhelming, honestly. But I got where he was coming from. He wasn't trying to tear me down, he was trying to build me up. A ruler to ruler, mentor to newbie. I'll let it slide and tackle things in earnest next time. Though next time, maybe I'll bring a flask to sip from while he lectures. Ren, of course, had been with me the entire time, silent, poised, and ever so perfect. Not once did she break character during the whole event, not even as Gazel lectured me. She stood beside me like a shadow, hands folded, expression polite but unreadable. Only when we were finally alone in my room did she let the mask slip. Without missing a beat, she set down the tray of tea she'd prepared, turned to me with that same composed demeanor and then, with a tilt of her head and the faintest arch of a brow, delivered her own verdict. Lady Rimuru, you are gracious, sincere, and kind. But today's speech was unbecoming of a ruler. I blinked. Oh come on, you too. Her tone remained perfectly respectful, but her words were precise, cutting through my excuses before I could even voice them. You must command hearts, not simply ask for understanding. Your people do not need your modesty. They need your strength. 2 lectures in a row. Maybe 3, if I counted the one going on in my own head. Still, they weren't wrong, so I'd take their advice. Learn from it. Next time, I'd speak not just as myself, but as the one leading Tempest forward. I had to, not just for them but for everyone who put their trust in me. That wrapped up all the major events at Dworgen. Beyond a few casual meetings, I'd be devoting the next few days to tourism and the like. Dolph would be leading me around. He headed the Pegasus Knights, but that job was classified. Officially, he led the civil servants who filled the government's bureaucracy, which chiefly meant he was King Gazel's assistant. With his guidance, I toured every facility in Dworgen that might teach me something useful: administrative halls, training grounds, research labs, manufacturing plants, even the sewage and water purification systems. Anything that could give me ideas to improve things back home in Tempest, I wanted to see. I had no intention of letting this diplomatic trip be just a formality. If Dworgen was offering wisdom, I was here to absorb all of it. Once night finally came, I snuck out of my room, beside myself with anticipation. My body double was tucked in bed, and I knew what Shuna and Xian were up to. They, of course, were my biggest obstacles to enjoying a night out like this. Xian was busy sparring with Dolph and Vaughn, her so-called night training. Apparently, she'd hit it off with the two of them over drinks, and now they were indulging in a bit of late-night combat practice. It was set to last exactly as long as our reservation at the Butterfly, so no worries there. Shuna, meanwhile, was deep in discussions with the palace chefs, arranging every last detail of the farewell banquet planned for tomorrow night. That just left one person. Ren. Before I left, I knocked on her door to let her know I'd be out for the evening just in case. Her voice came from within, calm and composed as always. Understood, my lady. However, I must ask you not to disturb me this evening. Please do not enter without my permission. Okay, that was unlike her. She was always the picture-perfect maid, practically glued to my side. For her to lock herself away? Weird. Maybe she was in the middle of practicing her perfect maid routine in front of the mirror. I could almost imagine her bowing in the reflection, repeating her lines like a stage actress. Or, well, who knows? Better not to press it. With everyone conveniently occupied, our plan was a go. Gobda, you there? I whispered as I crept into the shadowed corridor. Yes, sir. Right here, sir, came his hushed response from just behind the pillar. I gave him a small nod of approval, and we set off with a shared sense of mischief in our step. Sure gonna be fun, huh? He whispered for what had to be the 10th time tonight. The grin plastered across his face looked like it might snap off. He'd been bugging me about this visit since the moment we arrived in Dworgen, so I knew he was in his personal heaven. Our preparations were flawless, body double in bed, Xian and Shuna busy elsewhere, Ren in full mysterious lockdown mode. Nothing could go wrong. We followed the familiar alleyways to the club, and the moment we opened the door, a wave of cheerful voices greeted us. Oh, it's the big slime himself. Wait, no. It's the beautiful lady herself now. Good evening. I've been waiting forever for you. Wait, I get to serve her this time. What? Since when did we take turns like that? Welcome back, the owner called out, waving from the bar. Everything been good with you? You bet, I said smoothly. How about all of you? Oops, my tone slipped into Gobta's cadence for a second. I cleared my throat, trying to salvage the air of dignity. Oh, of course. The rest of your friends are already here, the owner continued, gesturing toward the back. We were led inside to the main lounge where Kaijin and the other dwarves were already kicking back, each with a cheerful companion at their side. Laughter and music echoed softly across the room. We had the whole place rented out, no strangers, no surprises. After a while, with the night drawing to a close, Gobta and I found ourselves headed back toward the palace through the quiet streets. Now listen, guys, I said, glancing at the hobgoblin crew tagging along behind us, make sure no one sees you on the way back, all right? This whole night's my little secret. I mean it. Don't ruin this for me. They all nodded quickly, clearly understanding the stakes, until one of the hobgobs at the rear scratched the back of his head and said, Lady Shuna asked me where I was goin' earlier, so I kinda told her everything, sir, but... The street went dead silent. What? I froze. Gobta turned visibly pale, sweating bullets. The other hobgobs looked like they'd been hit by lightning. Seriously, Gobzo, what have you done? That, yikes. Well, boss, Kaijin said, instantly sobered, we're heading out. Best of luck with today and, Shuna and things. He bolted for the door, the rest of the dwarves trailing behind like guilty puppies. Gobta and I were left behind to face the consequences. Gobta, what kind of training have you been giving these idiots? I'm sorry, sir. Gobta bawled, practically on his knees. But it was too late. Apologies wouldn't save us now. There was no magic, no secret skill, that could get us out of this situation unscathed. That's when I heard it. You look like you've been enjoying yourselves tonight. A frigid voice, smooth and lethal. Shuna. You were so late coming back, we came to pick you up, Sir Rimuru. And beside her, Xian, her tone just as icy, her smile sharper than a drawn sword. It's all over. The dwarves, who hadn't quite made it out in time, immediately sat on the floor with resigned expressions of acceptance, as if already offering themselves up to the divine judgment awaiting us all. We're so sorry, the dwarves and Gobta cried, bowing deep into the floor. There's nothing to apologize for, Shuna said sweetly, with a cruel smile. Exactly, added Xian, cracking her knuckles. We certainly aren't angry that you didn't invite us. Their hatred ran deep this time. And thus, like perhaps many evenings before and many more to come at the Night Butterfly, ours ended with heartfelt apologies and soul-crushing regret, offered to the most fearsome women in our lives. Back in my room, I'd barely recovered from Shuna and Xian's coordinated ambush when the atmosphere grew even colder. Ren was already waiting. She stood by the window, bathed in moonlight, posture immaculate, gloved hands folded just so in front of her apron. Her long black hair shimmered softly, the red cord accenting it like a seal of judgment. And her expression cool, unreadable, did not bode well for me. My lady, she said, voice soft, even-toned. I trust you enjoyed yourself. Well, I wouldn't say, enjoyed, exactly. Her eyes met mine. I shut up. She turned away from the window, gliding across the floor with the practiced grace of a veteran maid who could balance a tea set in an earthquake. I see, she said quietly. Then I will speak plainly. I find it regrettable that I was not informed of your departure. Even more regrettable, that I was excluded entirely. I wasn't trying to hide it. You said not to disturb you, remember? Yes, I did say that. She smiled faintly, but it didn't reach her eyes. But that was in anticipation of needing the composure to deal with your usual mischief. I had hoped, perhaps foolishly, that you would manage one evening without inviting trouble. She circled behind me. I didn't dare turn to face her. I felt like a delinquent schoolgirl waiting for the headmistress to drop the hammer. And yet, she murmured, you snuck out under my nose and returned escorted by Lady Shuna in a mood most dire. Tell me, my lady, was it worth it? I swallowed. I was just chaperoning, really. Her voice dropped a note. Chaperoning, while leaving your most loyal maid to her own devices, unconsulted. How very majestic of you. I said I'm sorry. Oh, I know, I heard, quite loudly, in fact. She finally walked into view again, pausing just in front of me. But a maid's duty is not merely to hear apologies, it is to correct misbehavior. I tensed. You're not going to hit me, are you? Ren blinked, genuinely confused. Perish the thought. A lady must never resort to such base displays of wrath. I almost sighed in relief until her smile returned. Softer, more dangerous. No, my lady, I have something far more fitting in mind. Uh-oh, I gulped. Oh okay, look, just tell me what it is and I'll take it like a champ. Ren gave me a once-over polished and practiced, like she was sizing up an unruly noble child for court presentation. Tomorrow you will, of course, be wearing what I choose, she said calmly. That didn't sound so bad. Right, sure, that's fine. She didn't even blink. I was going to suggest something tasteful. But now, I believe something a little more memorable is in order. That sounded worse. Wait, what kind of memorable are we talking about? A proper ruler must command attention, my lady, Ren continued, ignoring my rising panic. You have a charming figure, delicate features, a certain, ethereal allure. It is a disservice not to make full use of these advantages. Ren, hang on, let's not go full fairy princess or anything. Her smile deepened. Oh no, my lady. Not fairy princess. A vision of sovereign beauty. You shall wear something that leaves the court breathless, and slightly off balance. I was already off balance. I'm not gonna survive this, am I? Ren stepped back with a graceful nod. If you do, perhaps you will think twice before evading your maid again. She turned toward the door. I shall begin selecting your attire. Rest well, my lady. Tomorrow, your true punishment begins. And with that, she glided away, perfect posture unshaken, the faintest sound of her heels clicking against the stone floor. I slumped into my chair. Ren might not yell, or explode, or throw tables like Xian, but when she got serious, she was terrifying in a totally different way. Maybe next time I'll just stay in bed, I muttered to myself. The next evening, few hours before the banquet. My lady, Ren said, standing before me with a folded gown in her arms and a gleam in her eyes, it is time. I tensed. Time for. She stepped closer and whispered as though sharing a sacred rite. Your transformation. Into what, exactly? She smiled calm, composed, and slightly terrifying. Into a vision. Into awe. Into the sovereign no one dares underestimate. Before I could protest, she had already whisked me into the dressing chamber. Shuna and Xian were waiting. Shuna was by a table of delicate accessories, and Xian, well, she looked just as confused as I was. What's going on? Xian asked. I'm not sure, Shuna murmured, but Lady Ren seems very determined. Determined is one word, I muttered. I think I'm being dressed for revenge. Correct, Ren replied smoothly. For the indignity of last night, my lady must endure a lesson in regal presentation. Then she unfolded the gown. You're serious, I breathed. Utterly. Shuna came closer, all smiles. Oh, it's going to suit you so well, Lady Rimuru. I was going for enthronement level tier, Ren said with a hint of pride. I will not allow my lady to look anything less than unforgettable. And if I refuse? Ren calmly pulled out a pair of matching heels. You won't, she said. I sighed. Fine, but if I pass out from anxiety, I'm blaming all of you. Shuna giggled. We'll be right beside you. Xian nodded silently. I grumbled all the way into the gown, but I had to admit even I could feel the difference. The fabric was light, the fit precise, and the whole ensemble felt like something a queen might wear in a painting. Ren circled me once, inspecting every fold, every detail, before giving a small nod of approval. Perfect. Then, with the faintest smile. Now, my lady, let's make sure no one forgets who you are. Not even you. Ren gently dismissed Shuna and Xian. You've both worked hard enough for tonight. Please, return to your rooms and rest. Shuna bowed slightly, smiling. Yes, Lady Ren, my lady, please rest well. Shion gave a cheerful nod. You look amazing, Lady Rimuru, see you later. I waved to them as they left. Once their footsteps faded down the corridor, silence settled into the room like a soft blanket. Ren turned to me, her tone still as polished and pleasant as ever. Now then, my lady. Would you kindly take a moment to look at yourself in the mirror? I hesitated. I already felt like I was wearing something out of a fantasy drama, and I wasn't sure I wanted that confirmed. Still, I turned to the mirror. Yikes. A long, flowing gown in a deep midnight blue shimmered under the soft light, etched with silver dragon motifs that curled and danced like ancient runes. The mesh sleeves hugged my arms, black and semi-transparent, and the sharp feather-like accents around the shoulders gave a dramatic flair I definitely hadn't asked for. A layered skirt fanned elegantly at the sides, with slits just enough to reveal legs. My hair had been done up in an intricate half braid, set with a silver star-shaped hairpiece that glittered dangerously like it knew too much. Beautiful, I murmured, barely realizing I'd said it aloud. And then it hit me. Wait, oh crap. This isn't me. My face drained of color as the thought twisted inside me. This is bad. If I keep looking at myself like this, if I keep letting this happen, I might change completely without even noticing. I've already been worried about how I'm slowly shifting in ways I can't quite track, but this might be the tipping point. My eyes flicked sideways, toward Ren. She was watching me like a predator who'd just heard the trap snap shut. You're enjoying this, I whispered in horror. She gave me a slow, wicked smirk. Guess you're finally catching on, my lady. What are you? I hissed back in a hushed voice. A demon, Ren chuckled, the sound soft and elegant and absolutely terrifying. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, she added smoothly. You'll be standing there for the next hour. Hour. To properly appreciate yourself, of course, she said sweetly. And after that lessons. You'll need to learn how to behave like a proper lady. The gleam in her violet eyes sharpened, her voice silk-wrapped steel. Her grin was absolutely evil. I looked back at the mirror in mute despair. I was doomed. I stared at my reflection, my jaw tight. An hour in front of this mirror. And then etiquette lessons. I wasn't ready for this. I would never be ready for this. I had to get out. Actually, Ren, I said carefully, forcing a bright, diplomatic smile. You know, this has been really educational. Eye-opening. Profound, even, but maybe we can save the proper lady training for another day. Say, next century. Ren tilted her head, smile still firmly in place. I'm afraid not, my lady. Tonight is the only free window in your schedule. That wasn't fair. That was cheating. I tried again, desperate. Look, Ren, we've had a long day. You've been working hard, maybe you should rest too. I'll just study quietly in my room. Alone. Preferably in my pajamas. Ren narrowed her eyes slightly, walking toward me with slow, deliberate steps. I instinctively stepped back. You're not going to escape this, my lady. What if I use my wings to fly away? She didn't raise her voice. Didn't even blink. Just smiled softly, sweetly. Then I shall retrieve you, my lady. Gracefully, and by the ankles, if necessary. That smile didn't reach her eyes. And suddenly, flying didn't sound like such a good idea. That was terrifying. She reached out and gently took my wrist, guiding me back toward the mirror like I was some wayward child who'd wandered off from a school line. Now, she said sweetly, shoulders back, chin up. Eyes forward. Start getting used to your reflection. We'll begin with posture. I'm going to die, I muttered under my breath. Ren just chuckled. Oh, not at all. You're going to blossom. I groaned, but there was no escaping it now. The mirror awaited. Send help. An hour passed. I survived. Somehow. It wasn't that bad, honestly. Wait, thinking that wasn't bad is kinda bad. My expression twitched. Ren gave me a knowing look from behind the teacup she now elegantly sipped. You're starting to enjoy this, my lady. I snapped upright. I am not. She didn't argue. She didn't need to argue. That smug little curve at the corner of her mouth said everything. I swear, she was practically glowing with villain energy right now. Then she stood, set her cup down with perfect grace, and pulled out a book from seemingly nowhere. The cover read, Grace and Nobility, a primer for young ladies. She stepped closer, book in hand, and gave a sharp nod like a general about to brief her soldier. We begin with posture. Straight back, shoulders down, no slouching. A proper lady carries herself with dignity even when she's pretending not to panic. I straightened reflexively, only for her to lightly tap the back of my head. Not stiff like a plank. Relax your spine, chin up, but not too far. We're not trying to sniff the air like an arrogant swan. I grumbled under my breath but adjusted again. Better, she said, circling me. Now, let's work on your walk. Small steps, no stomping. Glide like you're floating, not charging into battle. But I like charging into battle. She gave me a look. I'm just saying. She pointed toward an imaginary line on the floor. From here to the mirror. Walk. I tried. I really did. But halfway through, I forgot what to do with my arms and my stride suddenly felt weirdly robotic. You look like a wind-up toy. I stopped and spun around. Then stop winding me up. She didn't flinch. Again, Ren clicked her tongue softly. We'll circle back to your walking later, my lady. For now, let's focus on something simpler. She stood in front of me, hands neatly placed over one another at her waist, and dipped into a deep, flawless curtsy. Her skirt fanned just enough to look elegant without being dramatic, and her posture remained so perfectly straight, I almost wondered if she had a ruler sewn into her spine. This, she said gently, rising with a flourish, is the proper curtsy. A greeting of refinement, grace, poise. Try to remember that. I'm a slime pretending to be a girl pretending to be royalty, I muttered. There is no poise in this body. Ren either didn't hear me or chose violence. Now you try. I looked down at the gown I was wearing, the heels, the layers, the threat of fabric-related disaster, and took a breath. Okay, Rimuru, you've taken down Orc Lord. You can bend your knees without falling over. I placed my hands where hers had been, tried to recall how she moved, and lowered myself slowly into something resembling a curtsy. My right foot slid, my balance wobbled, panic rose. I caught myself at the last second with an awkward hop, then straightened quickly. There was silence. Ren sipped her tea again. Calm, cold, That was a bow. Worse. It was a bow that looked like a squat. I felt my soul leave my body. She set the cup down again, and this time, she stepped closer. One more time. This time, move your left foot behind your right. Yes, exactly. Hands folded, back straight. Now lower. Slowly. Her hand guided mine gently, and this time I actually felt the motion go smoother. My skirt moved the right way. My legs didn't buckle. I didn't panic. I rose up. She blinked. Acceptable. I blinked back. Wait, you're serious? Her lip twitched. We're not done. Of course not. She flipped another page. Next. How to greet a foreign dignitary without accidentally declaring war. Ren turned the page of grace and nobility like she was unsheathing a blade. Now, she said, imagine a foreign noble has entered the room. Someone of slightly higher rank than you, but you are the host. How do you greet them? With snacks. I offered, hopeful. She gave me a look so flat it could level mountains. I was joking, kind of. Ren raised her chin slightly and began pacing slowly, as if we were already in the royal court. Stand straight, shoulders back. Your steps must be light, graceful. No slouching, no waving, no running up to them with a grin and yelling, hey buddy. I froze. Okay, I get it. No buddying the foreign guests. She pointed to a spot on the rug. Stand here. Now imagine I'm the guest. I obeyed, swallowing my pride and about 6 other instincts. She stepped toward me with elegant poise, the kind that made her look like she floated. As the guest, I arrive and wait to be acknowledged. What do? I curtsy. You acknowledge me first. A shallow nod is enough unless they are royalty. Then you curtsy. I nodded slowly. So it's a nod-curtsy combo for kings. Ren gave a light smile. Correct, though your tone must match your station. Try it. Greet me. I turned to her, cleared my throat, and with my best serious face said, Welcome to Tempest. I am Rimuru Tempest, the ruler of this land. I hope your journey was smooth and your accommodations are to your liking. Ren blinked. What? That was actually not bad, she said, surprised. A bit stiff, but no glaring mistakes. I blinked back. Wait, seriously? I passed. Not yet. You bowed after speaking, not during. And your hand placement was slightly off. Try again. My shoulders sagged. Of course. We went through it 3 more times. And by the end, I had almost nailed it, at least enough for Ren to give me an approving nod instead of a disappointed sigh. Then she closed the book and said, That will do for now. I collapsed onto the nearby couch with the force of someone who'd just survived a boss fight with 1 HP. How do nobles live like this every day without just spontaneously combusting? Ren sat beside me and poured tea again like this had all been normal. They combust internally. The trick is to smile through it. Quote. Great. So I'm supposed to be a social landmine with a fake smile. Exactly, my lady, she said, absolutely enjoying this. I groaned again and took the teacup she offered. Ren set her teacup down with a soft clink. Now then, my lady, next, we begin your introduction to the language of the fan. My eye twitched. You mean like, waving it? Ren pulled out a delicate folding fan from a nearby case. It was white silk with embroidered blue flowers, as pristine and regal as everything else she owned. The fan is a weapon of subtlety, she said, opening it with a crisp snap. In noble society, a flick of the wrist can mean intrigue, or insult. She handed me one. Mine was midnight black with golden patterns. I reluctantly took it. You're joking, right? Ren didn't answer. She simply raised the fan to cover her mouth, leaving only her eyes visible. Holding the fan this way. It means, I wish to speak with you in private. I blinked, snapping it closed quickly while looking away. That's a dismissal, as in, you've overstayed your welcome. Oh, great, can I just wave it around like a surrender flag when I want to leave? She stared me down. That would mean, I'm looking to elope. Wait, what? Ren smiled, clearly enjoying herself. Do pay attention, my lady. Or you may find yourself accidentally accepting marriage proposals. Why is this so complicated? Quiet flailing, she chided, gently adjusting my wrist. Now, try communicating, I'm interested, but hesitant. Quote. This is a trap, isn't it? After an hour of misunderstood fan signals and unintended romantic implications, thankfully, only between Ren and the mirror I was finally allowed to put the fan down, only for a wardrobe to be rolled in. What now? Ren opened the wardrobe. It was full. Dresses, shawls, cloaks, shoes in matching palettes, hats with feathers. Even wait, was that a tiny velvet purse? A proper lady must understand the meaning of fashion. You are not just dressing yourself, you are sending a message. I mean, I already have a message. I gestured to my current outfit, the one Ren and the others chose earlier. It says, I've given up. She ignored me. Now, which of these cloaks best communicates quiet authority with a hint of mystique? Ren, I don't even know what I had for breakfast. Incorrect answer, she replied flatly, already placing a silver-trimmed dark violet cloak over my shoulders. Also, you'll need a different brooch for this. That ruby one clashes. I let out a strangled groan. I'm literally a slime pretending to be a human princess. Why am I learning which gemstone pairs best with formal royal blue? Ren turned to me slowly, smile both radiant and merciless. Because, my lady, you must become someone who chooses how the world sees you. Crap, that actually sounded kinda cool. After the fan language and fashion fiasco, I thought surely that was it. I was wrong, very wrong. The next few hours flew by in a whirlwind of dizzying lessons, each more refined and traumatic than the last. Speech balloon, noble speech patterns and polite conversation. Try to speak with dignity, poise, and just a hint of humility, Ren instructed, gliding past me like a ghost of etiquette. Say, it would be my honor to dine with your majesty. Got it. Yo, your majesty, what's up? She looked at me like I'd just thrown soup on a duke. Again, fork and knife with plate dining etiquette. Forks to the left, knives to the right, dessert spoons up top, she lectured as I stared at a battlefield of silverware. And remember, dab, don't wipe. Why is there a tiny fork the size of my pinky? Seafood, I'm allergic to rules. Footprint posture and walking gracefully. No slouching, chin up, shoulders back. Do I look like a war general or a model? Both, Ren said. Now glide. I tripped over my own dress for the third time. I don't glide, I blorp. Bubble tea ceremony. Hold the cup like so. Delicate fingers. Wrist straight. I'm holding it. Oh no, I spilled it. Quote. My lady. That was imported from Bloomond. Books, formal titles and rank recognition. There are 38 noble ranks. You will memorize them. I'm going to die in this room. Not before you learn which duke outranks a marquis. Mirror makeup and appearance maintenance. Rosy cheeks. and subtle gloss imply innocence and elegance, Ren said, gently dabbing a brush against my face. I'm supposed to be a ruler, not a porcelain doll. Which is precisely why you must soften your image. Grace inspires trust. Quote. Can I at least keep the fangs? You don't have fangs, my lady. Quote. Yet. Ren stared. I grinned. She powdered me harder. Flower petal. Final lesson. Silent presence. And finally, learn the most powerful tool of all, Ren said, dimming the lights slightly and standing beside me in the mirror. The ability to command attention, with silence. She walked, paused, tilted her head slightly, every gesture said regal authority. Then it was my turn. I tried it. My shoe squeaked. Quote. Ahem, I muttered, fidgeting with my cloak. Ren nodded. Better. You're beginning to understand. Clapperboard curtain close. At last, Ren closed the etiquette manual with a snap. She set it down with precision, then looked me over from head to toe, one hand resting on her waist. Her expression was unreadable, calm, composed, and as infuriatingly perfect as always. You've made some progress, my lady. I straightened, cautiously hopeful. Really? Ren nodded. Indeed. I started to relax. But, she added with a gentle, ominous smile, you still require considerable refinement. I froze. Quote. So, we're done, right? She turned to the tea set, gracefully pouring herself a fresh cup. Certainly. Phew. Good. I was starting to think you were. Because starting tomorrow, she cut in smoothly, I will be giving you etiquette training every day. The words hit me like a curse. Quote. Every day, without fail. But I have diplomacy to handle, budgets to review, Monster Nation things. All the more reason to present yourself like a ruler worthy of respect and admiration. She took a sip of tea, violet eyes calm, but her smile was wicked. I slumped in my chair, face in my hands. I had survived today, but now, I was at war, with Grace, and I was losing. To be continued.